Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro Division with the tournament win for the qualifying round here in Golf Clash the game and the Eastern Classics tournament. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and before we start make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. You can get the ultimate tournament guides for Pro or Expert and Master for on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. We have a new schedule, the guides will be out earlier, so check it out. Also follow the info box on the right hand side for the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, and also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. What I would like to say that I am using some Berserker balls here in this video, as we do have some very interesting send it wins, and I feel that we are going to have to apply to that, as we are otherwise will lose a shot towards our opponents. Have in mind that you can play with a different ball, so listen to my explanation and also get yourself an own ID by looking at my shot. Often a power 5 ball is used to reduce the amount of overpower needed, where playing with a power 3 ball or a power 4 ball would need absolute max overpower, and that's often the benefit with a power 5 ball. It doesn't say that it's an absolute must to use it. I wanted to have that explained before we take and check out the videos. Let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we are going to go for green, but as we do have a straight crosswind, it is extremely important that we have the possibility to play with a power 5 ball. Or I said that we are going to go for green, but nah, we're not really going for green, we're going for a short wedge. And adjust for the center of the fairway pad, adjust maximum distance plus 10. If you adjust from max distance, which we do there, push up to absolute very max. Right side of the ball outside the adjustment ring to the right in curl, and in this case I'm using 4 rings of overpower. What I would recommend here though is to go with 3 to 4 rings of overpower. Okay? So what I would base that off is, if I adjust from max position, I would go 3 rings of overpower. If I would be in max position or maybe having a little bit of headwind, I would go with 4 rings instead in terms of overpower. And the curl is always going to be there. If you fall short and you end up for a wedge, it plays 25% elevation through distance. And I played it minimum distance plus 20 with my wedge, and I did just barely drop it, so that's why 25% is going to be the better adjust for hole 1. Very important to get the eagle to get a good start. For hole number 2, we are playing for a safe eagle only, and that's because the wind is not going to be enough for us to go over the rough with semi-level drivers. So max topspin, 1 bar side spin to the right with the big topper, have the blue ring by the rough line. Very important that you don't aim closer than this, and I will explain why once we have talked through the shot. Max, no elevation here, and we are going to adjust with power 2 ball settings. No overpower, obviously, no curl either. And the reason we're aiming so far away from the rough is because tailwind is pushing the ball further up. So if we're aiming, let's say, with the yellow ring or even with the red ring, we do risk clipping the rough. And you know, when we're trying to play this hole as safe as possible, that's just not going to be anything good coming through for that, for getting a couple of extra yards. Second shot, we play to get this ball to green. Now, you can go with max overpower and maybe try to reach for the second fairway, but there is no point. Play it safe, 3 right spin, and we're using, in this case, 6 bars of top spin if I didn't count it wrong. I would like to say use as much 7 bars of top spin. If you have more, then don't use more, because our plan here now is to get ourselves down to either a short wedge or to, in somewhat, putt towards the eagle. Half a ball of curl to the right. You can push and go with a little bit more curl if you want to, but again, there is no point because we're just playing this one to secure a safe eagle. Max, no elevation for the drive. We're going to obviously add up, so we do have the second shot as well, and that's going to be played medium distance. I'm going to play that one 10% elevation, and there we do have it. So medium distance, 10% for the second shot on hole number 2. Hole number 3 is going to be a tough one. Here we do want to play with a katana ball, and we want to have the side spin 3. Half of the white ring inside the bunker to the left, and top right of the white ring by the bunker. From there we shall then apply spin. 3 bars of side spin to the left, and 4.5 bar of backspin. Adjustment here in the video is max plus 5 power 2 ball settings. What I would like to do though is to adjust max plus 10 power 2 ball settings instead. And the reason for that is, like, when we do adjust here now, we pull ourselves left. And the important part here obviously is that we pull ourselves a little bit more left, because we're going to miss to the right. This is a tough par 3. I do not expect this one to drop every single time. That I expect not going to happen. But with this shot, we definitely have a chance. We come in with a nice speed, and we have a nice firm first bounce. So this is the way to play hole number 3. For hole number 4, we are going to use all the topspin that we do have and 2 bars of side spin to the right. I'm looking to be just centered on the fairway, so I'm basically just using my eyes trying to focus on having the bullseye centered on the fairway. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance plus 15. In the video, I'm using max plus 10, but I would like to have max plus 15, as we do want to get a little bit more to the right. A double great left is not going to be good. Then you're going to be often very close to max distance, or maybe in between clubs if that's going to happen. Titan ball is what I'm using. You can use a Kingmaker as well. We're using approximately 3 rings of overpower for the drive. Second shot, here it's all based on club distance. We're going to have a very good wind, as this is not direct headwind, but somewhat close to it. So I'm going to use backspin only, no side spin whatsoever. And in this scenario, I did estimate it to be approximately 58% club, which is obviously then 58% slider and 10% elevation, which is 3.3 rings for a 6.5 miles per hour. We line up, obviously wind angle pointing to north, and then we do adjust, and we're going to take our shot. Perfect ball. Bouncing nicely on the fringe as we wanted to, and directly in for a beautiful eagle here in hole number 4. And in my opinion, with this wind, we do somewhat need to have an eagle if we're not going to lose a stroke towards our opponents. Hole number 5, and we are going to go for a rough bump. We can only play this one with a power 1 ball or less to find the spot, because I don't want to play with a long iron here, because we will go in between clubs. There is a massive funnel on this green, and that's what we are trying to catch. I'm using 1.1 bar of topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the right. And then I'm looking to be, as you can see on my range position, top right of the red ring by the edge of the rough, with approximately half of the blue ring falling down into the sand. Adjustment is going to be minimum distance with a 20% over adjustment power 1 ball settings. Adjust. And then it's time to take our shot. Based on the result here now, we miss just barely left. And what I would like to do here now is to play minimum distance, minus 20% power 0 ball numbers instead, because that funnel is massive. We just need to catch it the right way. So minimum distance, 20% power 0 ball numbers, and I feel you will have yourself an hole-in-one. For hole number 6, we are going to lay up, even though we do have a slight tailwind. And the reason I want to lay up is because there's no reason to take that much risk when it comes to the qualifying round, especially not on this par 5, where there is a lot of water that can definitely be put in play. We start with the blue ring by the rough line to the left. I'm using 4 bars of topspin and 2 bars of left spin, and we're using the blue ring as a marker by the rough line. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance plus 20. when it comes to the drive here. If you start and play with the rock level 7 and not level 8 or level 9, you start at the absolute very max, because the rock 7 has less power on its club. The ball comes in very beautifully right on the fairway, and this is basically exactly where we want to. But again, this is a very bumpy fairway, which in itself will be a cause for glitches from time to time, which is not something that we can hide against. Second shot, we're going to play with the Guardian, and the Guardian is going to be played with max backspin. And the reason I choose the Guardian here is for control. I'm not really expecting this one to drop for an Albatross, but I expect myself to be able to use enough backspin so I don't have to aim very close to the cliff sides or to the rough for that matter. I'm aiming right side of the cup just because I want to once again aim at very centered part of this fairway slash green pad that we're having. Adjust max plus 10. I apply half a ball of curl to the left and trying to hit perfect. Do I expect this one to drop? As already explained a couple of times, no. I expect this one to be a very safe eagle, but if you're lucky, like me here, you're gonna drop it for an Albatross. Hole number 7, the final of the par 3s, we start with a Malin ball. A left side of the yellow ring by the rough line in complete max distance. You can see here that I'm using half a bar of side spin to the right and 2.8 bars of topspin. Once that is done, we change to a Kingmaker. This to reduce the wind, and as we are only using the Malin to find max distance, that is obviously what is needed to be done. Adjust medium distance plus 10, which is 1 to 1. Adjust, so 5.3 miles per hour equals 5.3 rings. Perfect ball is gonna happen eventually. It's gonna happen there, and then we will hit the rough just nicely centered and roll down towards the cup for a beautiful hole-in-one here on hole number 7. If you feel uncomfortable with the rough bump, which, you know, if you have a tendency to hit really bad great balls and maybe good, then you should bounce on the fairway. But here, a single great left and a single great right will still be fine. No pull angle for this shot, as we're just trying to pull that back straight. Once again, for hole number 8, we are going to send it. And here it is crucial that we do play once again with a power 5 ball if we do have only 6 bars of topspin on our drive. If we do have more topspin, we can come around to play with a power 4 ball or maybe even a power 3 ball. So this is definitely so very much driver dependent on how easy this shot is going to be. You can see here that I do adjust maximum distance plus 10. I push up to max and I'm using a max topspin, 2 bars of left spin. Now, we want to rather hit a little great left than a great right. And I do unfortunately hit a great right, and you will notice how unlucky I am in this scenario. Obviously, we take a chance and a risk by playing this shot that, or like the chance that we're taking is obviously that we can get this ball very close to the green. And obviously the risk is that we get stuck into the rough. But from there is a very short rough iron, so, you know, it's most definitely not going to be something that we're not gonna miss, is what I'm trying to say. We're not gonna miss the green, but obviously from the rough it's gonna be much harder to drop this one for an eagle. Again, those of you playing with very low level drivers, unfortunately you will have to lay up and then play from distance, but this is the main route to play with tailwind on hole 8. For hole number 9, we're going to play with the rock as a driver. We're using 4 bars of topspin, 2 bars of side spin to the left, and we're going to start just before plus 1 yard mark. If you play with the rock level 7, you start at plus 5. Blue ring by the rough, obviously. Adjustment is going to be maximum distance plus 10. If you adjust into overpower, which there is a risk when it comes to the rock level 7, apply the overpower that you do adjust into. Left side of the ball, just outside the rough to the left in curl. And the only plan for us here is to get the ball down the fairway to a nice position for the sniper on the second shot. 334 is our yardage. Second shot, now it's important that you use the true club distance. Here, I'm looking for a spot that is going to be inside that pretty big funnel, and I'm starting just right off that. Then I apply side spin and backspin, so having the ball guideline to the hole and not through. And here you can see, if you look closely, and I'm not really detailed enough there, because honestly I should have aimed with a little bit more backspin. Adjustment here for this shot is I would like you to play medium distance with a 15% elevation, or let's say like this, you should be playing with 15% elevation true distance to get the correct one. Great right, it gets a really funky first bounce, or like funky, weird first bounce, and we just roll a left off the cup. And this is going to be a tough hole to drop, but it's definitely a makeable one. The green is somewhat flat, but all the fairway is really bumpy. That's why it's really tough to somewhat get this one to be a consistent drop. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Pro Division qualifying round here for the Eastern Classics Tournament video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Also get the ultimate tournament guides for Pro by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. We have a new schedule, check it out, the guides will be out earlier than before. Once again, thank you for watching and good luck in your Golf Clash game.